I know she was relieved. Because perfect Prim stays.
Perfect Prim. Oh, okay, we hate her now, huh?
Really? I need the red mic.
I know.
You're not going to love my answer.
I think I'm going to agree because of that.
I actually don't like Prim at all. I'm indifferent I think that she is a weak character. I think that she is pampered. And I think that she wants to be. Actually, well, Haymitch survived. So I think there's a lot more to do with that pen that we don't know about.
Oh. Oh, this is interesting.
I know. I don't even think Prim ever said thank you.
Nope, not once.
Prim never said thank you. Want to know why? Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Ale.
And I'm Carla, and this is Booked Buzzin.
From bestseller to hidden gems, we're going to be sharing our thoughts, reviews, and the latest buzz within the book world.
That's right, and we're going to be talking about one of our favorite trilogies. This goes down as legendary in our books.
Yep.
It's top tier. It's The Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games. And this has been quite a couple of episodes to come as well. So we are just going to be continuing some of our character analysis and a lot more about kind of what went into their perspectives, as well as like what it meant to read these different characters.
Yeah.
And I think we hit on quite a bit on last episode.
Yeah, 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Actually 4 that we had to cut down.
And we still haven't even touched upon some.
Yeah, remember in the end of the previous episode how we were like, maybe like 1 or 2 more? I don't know about that.
It's looking like more. So I think that we're going to focus a little bit more on... Would you call them like secondary characters? More like...
I wouldn't call them side characters.
No?
I don't know. To me, a side character is like irrelevant, and a secondary character has like depth and background.
Okay, so secondary.
I could be wrong. Is that how you define them?
I don't know. I think secondary characters to me is like, obviously they're not the main story, like the main, the main story plot, but they add depth to the main character in different ways.
And what is a side character to you?
I don't fucking know, actually.
I don't know. I like definitionally.
Should I Google it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I don't know, like definitionally what it is. I just assumed side character was like, I don't know, like on the side irrelevant, and secondary was kind of like the sidekick kind of thing.
I guess there is a difference.
Okay, you found something?
Yeah. Hold on. It says a supporting character. De donde vino supporting? Hold on.
Wait, who's that? The secondary?
I guess. Okay, look at this. It says supporting character is a character who aids or interacts with the protagonist, impacting their journey and the plot. Whereas a secondary character is a character who is not the main focus but plays a role in the story, often appearing in multiple scenes and contributing to subplots.
That would be like Peeta, Gale, stuff like that, right?
I guess.
I don't know. Whatever. We're going to be talking
It's weird, though, because I feel like... That's actually a good question.
This is getting like...
Because is this Katniss' story and it's Peeta as supporting role?
I mean, you're seeing at it. You're seeing at it. Yeah. You're seeing it through the looking lens of Katniss. Yeah. So I would say it's her story, and then the secondary character to me would be like Peeta. Maybe Gale in the last book. And then a side character would be just like everyone else. But I don't feel that way because you get so much information about other
at least
characters.
Peeta, Gale, and yeah.
Yeah, and even like, we have a new like book that just came out for Haymitch.
So true. To be continued.
Either ways, we're going to be discussing.
We might need to figure that out, but...
There's some heavy hitters for us.
Yes.
Katniss is a heavy hitter. Peeta is a heavy hitter. Haymitch is a heavy hitter.
Yep.
We're going to be discussing... I don't have a lot to say about him yet, but we'll see.
I have quite a bit, actually.
I know. But I have to read the book and, like, dive in.
Yeah, you do.
I know. Stop. Okay. How far into it are you?
I think I'm like 25% in. So it's not even that much. I fucking love it.
Really?
It's thick. So funny.
The book is thick.
It's 500 and something pages.
I was happy to see that.
I was like in shock. But it's interesting because I feel like that book's been out for a while.
Yeah.
And I remember opening it and I'm like, and I'm like, this is not Katniss's. Blech. And I never fucking read it. And I never fucking read it until we decided to like cover it. And I'm like, I guess I got to read it. And then I shit you not, within like the first 5 pages, I was like, oh, really? I like this.
As we talked about in the previous episode, I watched the movie and I was like,
oh, you watched? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I told you last time.
Oh, shit.
You forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched it. It was, I watched it and I was just like, no me importa. Like, I don't know if maybe.
Why do I do that?
I don't know, but I love it. On that note.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I wish we would have actually done a cheers.
I know, right? To empty glasses. Dink.
It has a little thing. So
okay, we'll cheers that. But I'm refilling my shit.
I can't anymore.
Such a rough sometimes. No, I know. Refueling.
But I really like this one.
Really?
Yeah.
It was on sale.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Trivento. Argentina. Oh my God. I was going to be like Trivento. I'm probably saying that wrong. Pero it's Argentina. I speak Spanish.
Yeah, we do.
Every time that I look at a wine, I'm like, I don't know how to say this shit. Do you know that, as a side note, every single time that I read something, because Spanish is my first language, and I never learned like how to pronounce things in English. Like I don't know the rules. I know how to, obviously, like what I know, the words I know, like I recognize them.
Yeah.
But whenever I see a new word, I always pronounce it in Spanish.
Same.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Same.
Dude, I'll see something that's like, let's say I don't know how to like pronounce the word halo. It's HALO. I'll be like alo.
100%.
Reading the whole book and I'll be like,
100%.
oh, because alo. And then someone will be like,
tell me why in Onyx, in Fourth Wing, Zayden's dragon, I call it Sagil.
Listen, I used to call Tain.
Andarna.
Yeah. Who else? Dude, literally, okay.
100%
I'm going to tell you right
Mira.
now. Huh?
Mira.
Yeah, Mira.
Instead of, what would it even be? Mira? Well, whatever.
I mean, same shit.
Yeah.
But in Tower of Dawn, when you meet the love interest, Irene.
Yeah.
It's Irene. It's Irene.
It's Irene.
Irene.
Yeah.
Even today, I was voice noting her about like some history stuff, and it was like, I saw a video because I like history that was telling a story about this Queen Isabella of France, but she was like married some English king, whatever. So I'm like telling her through the voice, and I'm like, okay, so this is about Queen Isabella, like not Isabella, the way the narrator said it. No. He was like Queen Isabella of France, and I'm like, oh my God, okay,
But
so it's
to be
about
fair,
Queen
that's
Isabella.
Spanish. It's a Spanish name, though. To
Yeah,
be
but
fair.
True, but
No, I get
she's
it.
from France.
I literally
So,
think
like,
about Spanish all the time. That's why I
it's
think
just
about everything.
easier for me because the rules don't change.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know E before this makes that sound, whatever. I don't know how we got here.
I don't know either, actually. But I could keep going.
Okay, wait. We were like toasting and talking shit.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
happened last time. And then I've circled back to it when I was watching. I was like, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
We'll circle back later.
Okay.
So, yeah. We're going to be talking about secondary characters.
Yes. So for me, I feel like there was a couple that I think like I don't get in. I mean, I know that the fandom loves them, but I don't think sometimes in the art of the Hunger Games, sometimes you miss them. Mm-hmm. Like I think one of them that I think is a quick talk is like Boggs.
I love Boggs. You know, there's not many people in the Hunger Games I don't love.
I know. Same.
Katniss's mom would be one.
Fuck her.
Coin would be one. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, we were talking about Snow.
Coin was Snow.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't hate Snow. I don't even dislike him.
No, I don't either.
I don't fuck with Coin.
Coin was opportunistic and manipulative. And I do think that she's a nasty person. Yeah. But at the same time, I still don't hate her. Because I feel like
I don't like her.
You were trying to get somewhere and you got it.
I don't like her.
No, I don't like her, but I don't hate her.
Well, I don't necessarily hate anyone in this series. You do?
Katniss' mom.
Yeah, I know.
I do fucking hate
her. I
her.
don't like her, but like for me, hate is like Tamlin. I hate him. Wait till we get there. For me, hate is like Violet.
Ma'am.
I hate that bitch. For me,
I like Violet.
No. What?
I do like Violet.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I think I do like her.
No.
I don't hate her.
But you like her? You don't even dislike her?
I dislike her actions.
What about her do you like? Other than
she
her
bonded
dragon. Other than that.
You fucking read me like
because
this.
Like I'm looking at her and I'm like, there's nothing likable. Other than who she's
I think
dating.
she's written to be somebody that look at her, like,
yeah, that's annoying.
She is like, she overcomes so much, but like, doesn't she really?
No, not a single thing.
I guess I have to circle back on that because I'm not totally committed to hating her.
Well, I'll get you there.
Okay. Okay, so Carla's gonna hate me, but I don't hate Gale.
I don't hate Gale. I just felt very betrayed by him because I was looking at it from a perspective of like, you are the only person that I have in this world where I don't have to be anything but myself. I could just be Katniss. I don't have to be a provider. I don't have to try and save you. Like with Peeta, she's just trying to save him constantly. I don't have to...
So true.
I don't have to I don't have to look after you in any capacity. I could just be myself. And I came home from the most traumatic experience of my life that you watched on TV. You watched me diminish as a human because I went there full from the Capitol food and I came out decrepit. Very, very, very thin.
Yeah.
And I came home with a lot of demons and my whole life changed. And you saw, I know, okay, you had a crush on me. That hurt your feelings. You saw me go through all of that. And I come home to you being weird. And, like, you kiss me. And now you're upset anytime I talk about Peeta. And it's like me, who I am, what I'm feeling, what I've gone through, what I'm about to go through again with this Capitol run takes a back seat because you want to date me. That, for me, was a huge betrayal. Because even if he, loved her or felt something for her, we never had that conversation.
Agreed. And I think that you're gonna hate me, but
we're gonna argue.
We're gonna argue.
Go ahead. Emotionally unavailable.
But this is who he's always been.
But so if now she's never done him like this.
Katniss, no bullshit. If Katniss feels betrayed, like you feel betrayed, it's because you have not read into who Gale really is. Gale has always, there's so many hints in the first few chapters of who Gale is. Like him saying all this shit about the Capitol, all the things that he's not allowed to say, then him being very emotionally unavailable and going through girl to girl to girl to girl.
But what does that have to do with you and me as friends? Like, I get what you're saying in a relationship.
I think it has to do with his inability to separate friendship from duty. Like, I do love you as a friend, but our duty is to survive, or our duty is for you to do this, and you have to do it. Like, I think, like, for him, it trumps friendship, but it doesn't mean that the friendship isn't there for him.
No.
Oh?
No.
Okay.
No.
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 Okay.
No. You know?
Okay.
Because no. Yeah. You know why? Because I get it. He is a different personality. Mm-hmm. And maybe I just don't fuck with that personality, and that's what it is for me.
You definitely don't. I mean, could I fuck with that person?
No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. I know you. No, you couldn't.
It depends on who he is.
The thing is, look, inherently, Gale is not a bad person. He's not.
No.
He took care of Katniss's family like they agreed to 100%. When, you know, she was in the games. But at the core of it, I think the issue is that they came together to survive. Mm-hmm. Similar to Katniss and Peeta. But if you take away the survival, that's not a friendship that would have ever come about. I think. Because who they are similar in some ways where they both have fire and they're both protectors, but way too different. Where he's...
I know where you're going, and I actually don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I think that Katniss became who Katniss really was because she was exposed to someone like Peeta. Because if she would not have been exposed to someone like Peeta...
Like before.
Yeah, no. Well, and I think that's
he saved important.
Her? Yes. Okay, I think that Peeta became a change in Katniss, and I think that's why Katniss was never able to come back and be put into the mold that Gale wanted her to be, because she was exposed to Peeta's goodness and Peeta's perspective and Peeta's personality. Whereas I think if Katniss would have never been exposed to Peeta, would have never been in the games, I think she would have been a carbon copy of Gale.
No, I don't think so, because I remember her in the first book being like, I hate him, to Peeta, and being like, I owe him because he saved me, and like, fuck him. Like, she was not like, he's a good guy. Like, she was like, what are his motives? Why is he like this? Like, why did he give me that bread? Right. So I don't think that Peeta giving her the bread changed her.
No. I'm talking about after.
Yes. So, but I'm talking about before the games. Before the games, okay. I feel like they became friends out of necessity, and I think if you take that away, if you take away their need to like survive together, because he knew things that she didn't, she knew things that he didn't. Mm-hmm. I think if you take that away, I don't think that in a non-survival situation they would have ever come together, because I feel like they're too similar.
Possibly not.
I feel like they're too similar in the like, they're both very on site, very much like, in the moment, angry, let's do it. Yep. But in the recoil, they're different. Katniss, she's very skittish, and Gale is willing to like you can see in the third book where she's like very like on edge, and then Gale will come and he'll be like, hey, like I'm sorry, like let's chill out, and she still has an attitude throughout that. And then when he's like being an asshole, she's like, oh, look at this rock, we used to sit here. So I feel like they contrast, but not in a way where like it matters. They contrast in the same shit, which is like the pissiness, the angerness. Yeah. They don't contrast in the like, okay, let me just hear you out. Yeah. Let me this. They're both very strong. They both have their fucking opinions. They both have their this. I don't think in any place other than needing each other, they would have ever become friends, because I just feel like they would have bumped too much. And I don't think they would have bended in the right places.
No, but I still think they would have ended up together.
Like as friends?
No, as like in a relationship.
Really?
Yeah. I understand that the initial contact was out of necessity. Yeah. But I think they got so used to each other after years and years and years that when the first book opens up, they already have a closeness that they don't have with anybody else. And I think even though it would have never been...
out of years.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If it weren't that Katniss had gone a year into getting to know Peeta, I think she would have totally ended up just like Gale.
No, I don't think so.
I do. I think she would have just... So. I think that they would have had a tumultuous, is that the right word? No, marriage. But I think that they would have ended up together and been like the same person. Whereas I think that the reason why she realized that she could never be with Gale is because she was exposed to Peeta.
No, I don't think so. And I think it's more... I don't know if they would have ended up together, but I don't think that they...
But she even says it.
What?
She even says it. She's like, there was a point, I don't know if it was the first or second book, where she was like, we would have, she said something along the lines of like, I
think I know what you're
see
talking
how
about.
we would have gotten like married, and we would have.
We could get married and have kids.
Get married, and we might have had kids, and
right.
I could have seen that future.
Yeah, and then she's like, but this is our situation, so it's mute.
Yeah.
I don't think that Katniss would have become like Gale. I don't know if they would have ended up together, but I don't think she would have become like Gale because you see, first of all, just to play into the dynamics of like the differences, he's coming from a perspective of like, I am the man of the house now. I provide for my family. She is coming from the perspective of like, I provide for my family, but none of this like I am the man of the house. So what happens? She's very nurturing towards her little sister. She has these emotions of like empathy,
but she's
sympathy.
A girl.
Well, yes. But I think that inevitably she couldn't get away from not being like Gale because I think she's already predisposed to a relationship with her father that was caring and sweet, and she already had that in her. Whereas I don't know what Gale's relationship was like with his dad, but you see tenderness. Yes, but you see tenderness. We can't see Gale's perspective. We can only see Katniss's. But you see tenderness in the way Katniss talks about her father, about how she talks about songs that her dad taught her that her mom didn't like, about how she treats her sister, how she talks about her sister, how she thinks about her. So I don't think she would have ended up like Gale. I think they would have gone down a different path. I think, honestly, it probably would have been more destructive because she wouldn't have had a buffer, which would have been Peeta.
Well, but that's my whole point. I think this would have gone down this way. I think it would have been
agree, but epic. I see where you're coming from.
But I think that the only reason that she didn't go down that way is because the universe collided with Peeta. Literally, the only reason that Katniss became who she was is because of Peeta.
Yeah.
And if it wouldn't have been for Peeta, I think that she would have ended up with Gale, and I think she would have been a carbon copy of Gale. I think that she would have been a little bit slightly less hardcore than Gale, but I think she would have assumed the role of this is the way it goes.
I don't think
and this is how we fight back.
I think it would have been different, but I don't think she would have been like Gale. But I think this will be an agree to disagree because I think we're going to be here for 3 hours now. I do want to talk about what's the name of the girl who gave Katniss that pin?
Macy.
It kind of makes me sad that in the movies, I understand that they had to relegate it to like just like Gracie Say gave it to her at the market.
Yeah.
But that girl played a pretty big role. It's a solid gold pin.
Yep.
It's a solid gold Mockingjay pin, and like.
And I don't think we even know the half of it.
Another prequel book?
No, I think that's part of Haymitch's book.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Well.
So, who gives her the pin? It was the mayor's daughter.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Whose pin was that?
Her mom?
Her mom. Who was the twin that went into the games with Haymitch?
I don't know her name, but the sister of her mom.
Yeah, they were twins.
Mm-hmm.
And she got raped with Haymitch.
Yeah. And they survived till, I think, the end, right?
I don't know.
What, Haymitch survived?
Haymitch survived. So I think there's a lot more to do with that pin that we don't know about.
Oh. Oh, this is interesting.
I know.
That's crazy because I do remember Katniss is watching in the
Haymitch
second
games.
Yeah, she's like, I know her, and she's like, that looks like my friend, the girl.
Yes,
Macy.
that gave her the
And she's like, oh my god, that must be her mom. And then
that's when they find out that the mom.
Someone says like, oh, she's a twin. It wasn't the mom, it was the twin.
Exactly.
And I remember rereading that a few times because I was confused and I was like, what? Whose mom got raped? Candace's mom got raped. And then it took a minute for me to be like, oh, but she plays such an important underlying Macy.
Yeah.
role in each book. In the second book, she gives morphling. In the first book, she gives her the pin, and then in the third book, they mention her that she died.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost like, why so much Easter egg with her? But now that you say that, interesting.
Yes, and because when you first get introduced to her, what do they say about her mom? That her mom is basically gone, like emotionally not there, that she's always self-medicating.
Yeah.
Because she lost her twin, and we don't know what way in Haymitch's game. And how interesting that after years and years and years and years and years after Haymitch's Hunger Games, she never gives that pin to anybody. Mm-hmm. But Katniss gets it.
Oh, that's weird. Because Katniss says too, like, we're not really friends. Like, she's like the only girl I talk to, but like I don't talk to anyone.
So why did Macy's mom give Katniss that pin?
Good fucking question. Yep. I hadn't thought about that. That is such a good theory.
I'm telling you.
Fuck, I wish we had time to go into
funny.
that.
I know. And I feel like maybe it's nothing. I don't know. We haven't read.
But that's something that would be fun to explore. Yeah. Like, if I was an author, I'd be like, ooh.
So why Katniss after years and years and years of Hunger Game tributes from District 12?
Well, she's the only volunteer in District 12 ever.
True.
So maybe they...
And that's another thing. It's not only are you the first volunteer, but you volunteered for your sister.
Yeah, which is, I think at some point they might say like that it's almost like rebellious to do that.
It's not seen from that district. Like in the first couple districts, it's seen as like careers, right? So like it's like an honor, but in the poor districts, it's not seen.
Yeah, even Katniss says like, I'm pretty sure Peeta has an older brother, and like he's not.
They never
volunteering
did that for him.
Which is crazy.
Which is a whole other thing.
That's crazy. That's a whole fucking loophole we could fall into.
Yeah,
not loophole, but black hole.
Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about Boggs
for a second. Yeah.
What do you like about Boggs?
So. Boggs is such a stellar side character. We don't know much about him. I mean, I don't think we ever learn about his real life. But it's interesting to me how quietly strong he was. How very much like he was under Coin's command. He was first in command in the mission towards the capital, right?
Yeah.
And how...
You mean the one that...
where he dies.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The Star Squad?
Yeah.
That was such an annoying name. Which it was on purpose, but like, ugh. Okay,
And so I feel like, right, like when he is introduced, he seems like a very hardcore military man, blah, blah, blah. Like...
Not a good impression.
And you don't think anything of him. You just really think, oh, like, you know, Coin's right-hand man on, like, the army or whatever. And then, like, you see him almost develop a soft spot for Katniss.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not even through anything that she does on purpose. It's through him being like, oh, she's, like, a fighter. And she's severely fucked up.
You know what's crazy is that it's gradual too.
Yes,
it's
super
not
gradual.
From one page to the next.
No, like at first he's just cordial, he's respectful, and like that's just his charge. He just needs to like make sure she's alive and like let her like follow the rules. And then I think all of a sudden one of the things I think pivots the whole perspective is when they are in district. I actually don't remember what district it was, but they're there to film. But there's a raid. And she punches him in the face. Or Gale punches him in the face. I don't remember which of the two. I think that's when they're like for real. And I think that he's like being told to get back like undercover and whatever. And she's like, no, like I need to fucking help bring these things down.
You know what resonated for me? Was when he was like, wash all that makeup off of her, like she's still a child kind of thing.
Ugh, yes.
I think that to me is what I took.
Like, is this a prop or is this like fucking war? And she's a kid.
I took that as him being like,
what are we doing here?
Kid, man. Like,
yeah, and what the fuck are we doing here?
Like, yeah, and I think that like seeing her be put in all these situations. Like, Katniss is so heavily traumatized in the third book. The entire district knows it. Everybody sees her wandering around. Like, she doesn't follow any rules. And she's given a pass because she's the Mockingjay. But everybody sees, like, this bitch.
Está mal.
Ella no sirve. You know, like, she doesn't...
She's like, severely traumatized.
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing she can do for us. There's no point in even having her in the rebellion kind of thing. And I think that coupled with, like, she takes the mantle of the Mockingjay.
Yep.
And, like, I just that moment where he was like, take all that shit off her face. Like, she's still, like, a girl.
It gives me Dad.
It gave me him looking at her and being like, bro, this sucks for you. Like, like, this also, kid is, like, going through this shit. Now she has to be the face of this shit, do all this, like, rebellion
putting makeup on her. Like, she's, like, severely traumatized. You took away, like, you know, you didn't rescue Peeta. Like, she's so fucking far gone. It was also giving me Dad, because I think that was kind of, I think his role in the book was to remind the reader that no one's taking care of Katniss.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Especially near the end, where he's, like, dying, and he's like, stop, I know.
You know who takes care of her? Peeta.
Yeah, but
he's not
I remember
there in the
all of third book is like it's reminding the reader, her fucking mom is there, her fucking sister's there, her fucking Gale is there, and no one. Haymitch is there.
Yeah, but Haymitch,
I know,
complex,
for sure. But what I'm saying is, I think Boggs' character is reminding the reader that she had no one truly there to just take care of her. And she was just a kid. And it's giving Dad. It's giving a father figure of... I'm not saying that, like, Boggs' character was a father figure by any means. No. I just think it was giving that kind of energy of, like, bro, yeah.
How did you feel about Prim in the third book and, like, how she tried to help take care of Katniss? Did you feel any type of way about that?
You're not going to love my answer. I think
I'm going to agree because of that.
I actually don't like Prim at all. I'm indifferent I think that she is a weak character. I think that she is pampered. And I think that she wants to be. And I
wouldn't say that she wants to be.
She does. She does, because she knows exactly what Katniss has done for her all this time. And I think that she sits up and listens to her and be like,
well, wait, I agree with you here. In the third book, it wasn't until, not even when I reread it, a little bit after, I was like, Prim,
what are you doing?
Me in all the vents. Like, why aren't you coming and getting me? Like, why? Yes, our mom, she should be the fucking mother. Mm-hmm. But I volunteered for you. I am in this place.
You are grown. You are learning how to be a doctor.
Like, I just felt like there comes a point where Katniss is like, you're not a little girl anymore. Mm-hmm. And also, like, yeah, you're not a little girl anymore. So why aren't you stepping up for me the way I stepped up for you?
Yep.
So I felt that way in the third book. I didn't feel that way in the first or the second book. But in the third book, I did look at it and I was like, I feel like you are so focused on this new life of yours in District 13 and becoming a fucking doctor that it's
your sister's sacrifice and your sister's trauma is secondary in your life.
Backseat.
Yep.
Right? Like, it matters to you when we're in the room and I wake you up from a nightmare kind of thing.
So here's my thing with Prim, right? In the first book, she's a kid. Yeah. And, like, you can't hate on her, right? No. But in the first book, I actually kind of did start hating her. And I will explain. Because it bothered me so much that the mom was so distraught at Prim going into the games, but not Katniss.
Is she distraught at Prim going into the games?
Distraught when Prim is announced.
Yeah, that she screams.
She screams, and she's, like, doing this whole show that, like, Prim. And then when Katniss volunteers as tribute, it's almost like she's like...
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
And she just goes, okay, Prim stays with me.
I didn't even think about that. That's true.
And then
wow,
the second
what a piece
book,
of shit.
Yep. And then the second book, when she's basically like useless in the house, that
you don't
she
think
got
maybe
for
it was
them.
shock in the first book?
No, I think she's a shitty mom, and I think that Prim.
I do think she's a shitty mom.
I think Prim is used to being the preferred one, the baby, the princess. I surprisingly now I guess I do, and I've never. It's so funny that we landed on this because tell me how we have spent years reading this. We have fucking a thesis paper of notes for this.
And Prim basically is nowhere on it.
Yep. Tell me why.
I don't know.
And now that I think about it, I'm like, I actually need to go back and fucking destroy her. But
destroy her. But no, I think that you know what'll happen. I think you should.
Yeah.
I think we should revisit this.
Yep.
But I think what's gonna happen is this way. You're gonna have the red mic talking about Prim, and I'm gonna have the not red mic defending her, kind of the way that you not defended Gale, but you saw his perspective.
Yeah.
I don't hate her.
I'm disappointed you might when I finish.
I'm interested, but I'm disappointed in her.
I don't think we've thought about it.
We haven't. Because I'm not joking. It literally hit me right now when we were talking about it. That I was like, you know, you were saying something. And I was like, why is Prim? Oh, because you were like, she's by herself. She's all alone. Who's taking care of her? And I was like, why is Prim not taking care of her?
Correct.
And then that's when I was like, wait, what are your thoughts on Prim?
Why is she letting her crawl into vents and be like, yo, you're my sister.
Why are you
come
so
here.
Preoccupied? Listen, I sacrificed my literal life for you and
my
survived.
Entire sanity.
I was going to die in the Hunger Games, and I lived. But I did that for you. Why can you not sacrifice your doctor's career for me
to study
in District 13 when I'm fucked up over your game? This was supposed to be yours, and I took it from you.
Yeah, I have to shadow mom in the infirmary.
You know what? In a way, this is going to probably not be a good thing to say, but in a way, I kind of feel like it's a good thing that Suzanne Collins decided that Prim was not going to be a character anymore after the third book.
Yeah, thank God.
Because, you know, she passes away. Because...
And it still breaks her.
If she... Well, of course,
that is the story of a sibling.
Sister.
I know.
But
it wasn't for Prim.
If she had survived, I don't see Prim going back to District 12. I do see Katniss going back to District 12.
Yeah.
I see Katniss being shell-shocked no matter what.
Yeah, because Prim is like...
Prim abandoning her.
Yeah, 100%.
And so...
Prim and her mom were going to abandon her and live a pretty little life becoming healers in District 4. Or whatever the fuck.
Her being removed, I think, was better for Katniss than having to deal with that abandonment.
How fucking so in between the lines is her complete abandonment of Katniss?
It's insane. And it's you know what's the biggest betrayal? It's that, like, I'm in all of this because of you.
Yeah.
This is not your fault.
No.
But this is yours.
But I did it for you.
This is yours.
Do not say... I don't even think Prim ever said thank you.
Nope, not once.
Prim never said thank you. Want to know why? Because she acts like she deserves it. Because... No.
I wouldn't say that.
I would.
You know, I think that she's
used to being put first. She knew that...
Yes, I agree with that.
Katniss will always sacrifice herself for her.
I don't think she expected her to volunteer for her.
Yeah, she fucking did.
No, she didn't.
There was no way that she was going to let her do that.
No, I don't think in that... Nobody has ever volunteered for their sibling, ever. I don't think she expected that.
Prim knew.
No.
Prim knew that she was never going to get her hands dirty.
No. She was like 10 or 11. She couldn't have known
Prim
that.
knew.
No, you're just like, now you're being me with the Gale shit where I'm like, no, fuck him.
No, I'm literally now, I can go back to the drawing board and think about it a little bit more for our next episode. But I'm genuinely recognizing that even at 10 or 12 years old, she was 12. I think you have to be 12 to be reaped. So even at 12 years old, she knew that Katniss has always swooped in and fixed her life.
Yeah, but in a moment like that, I don't think she was like, Katniss, where are you? I think it was more of like a, oh my God.
And then Katniss did it. And then her mom and her were like, oh yeah, great. We have our sacrificial lamb.
I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I do think the mom was relieved.
Yeah. I know she was relieved. Because perfect Prim stays.
Perfect Prim. Oh, okay, we hate her now, huh?
Really? I need the red mic.
I know.
It's worse. It's worse than her mom.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Because perfect Prim, I'm like, girl, I think that we've uncovered a new hated character.
Yeah. Because again, okay, I will always go back to like this. She is a child, but she's a very pampered and princessy child, even in the first book. The second book, I'm gonna have to go back because in the second book, she pissed me off.
She's like irrelevant in the second book.
Yes, but again, Suzanne Collins has done this perfectly so that I didn't know for fucking 15 years that I hated Prim until right now. Mm-hmm. But in the second book, there are so many instances of her being in this perfect house and she's fucking losing herself. Prim does nothing and she's older now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She's like drunk with Haymitch, fucking going through the whole... Huh?
One time. When she got raped again.
No. Even before. Get drunk
with him again?
No. I think she was drinking before. I mean, I can go look it up.
I'll fact check it.
Yeah, me too. But she's in this beautiful house that they built the Victors, and Prim is just living in her new pretty house with mommy.
No, you know what? This is a good point, and I hadn't even thought about it, but like it's true. You know that she's having nightmares every single night. Mm-hmm. Nobody comes in her room.
No one comes to her room. No one does anything. It's just what she has to do.
Actually, you know what so this conversation has made you hate Prim.
Yeah.
This conversation has made me hate her mom.
Well, I mean, I've been on that wagon.
But do you hate Prim or the mom more?
I'm going to have to actually think about that because my initial reaction is mom more overall. But I think second and third book Prim is worthy of hate too.
I think for me right now, I'm starting. So in the previous episode, I talked about how like I can understand that the mom like went through something and that's why she was like abandoned. No, not like that. Like I will never excuse that, but I can understand that there's like something I can't wrap my mind around because I can't fathom that. But okay, whatever. Let's call it some clinical bullshit. Okay. But in the second book, you're fine. Yep. Right? You're functional. Why are you not? My daughter is screaming at the top of her lungs. I don't care if you hate me. I'm going in your room and I'm going to see if you're okay.
Yep.
I'm going to see if, let me bring you some tea or like.
Yeah, or send your sister in there.
Are you okay? Or like, but nothing. She just screams by herself in her room every single night. What the fuck?
And then when Snow shows up.
Her whole family abandons her.
Yep.
I'm getting pissed.
And doesn't even send like, okay, if you really know that you have such a like difficult relationship with your daughter, you tell your younger daughter to be like, hey, can you go to your sister's room?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So no one does fucking shit. And then QN, before the games start again, or the tour or whatever, and Snow comes in and he's like, convince me, right? All that whole whatever. And how Katniss's mom comes in and she's acting like a fool because she's like so nervous because like, why is Snow here? Like she feels threatened. And Katniss is basically shitting herself and still tries to reassure mom.
Yeah. But she's always played that role. My thing is, like, as her mother...
But then no one fucking talks about it.
Well,
Snow leaves. Says, this is not a usual situation.
Katniss says, like, oh, they don't show it on TV, but he always visits, like, the victors to wish them luck.
And so the mom is just stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can't fix stupid.
No, but what I would say is that, like, I would think you could read your daughter a little bit.
Well, yeah.
And be
That's
like,
what I'm saying. I was like, no, she's just stupid. But then you have to sincerely ask,
Prim,
are you stupid?
You're my sister.
Yes.
You know, there's a different conversation that you have as siblings.
Yeah.
When, like, your parents and all that shit are out. And because we both have siblings. And so, like, there's a different conversation when your parents are gone where you're like, what did he really say?
Come on.
Did he say anything?
Come on.
What are you saying?
Be for real.
You know?
Yeah.
Prim never comes up to her. They have very little dialogue in the second book. You're making me hate her.
I know. I'm glad you are because I'm here right here. We might need 2 red mics. But to be honest with you, not only does that happen.
In the second book?
I don't even know.
13?
We're going to have to go back and see that. I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
Okay, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm. But here's my thing, right? So then you don't even know your daughter. And as a sister, you don't even engage with asking your sister if she's okay.
And the thing is, when you're the younger sibling, like, you look up to the older one. You want to be their friend. You want to talk to them. You crave that interaction because you think that they're, like, cool and all this shit. So why is Prim not, like, on top of Katniss?
Yeah.
In the sense of, like,
she's perfect Prim, and she gets all the attention, and she only wants all the attention, and
she's might useless. Be a little. Yes, I think it might be a little complicated because of the fact that Katniss stopped being her sibling and became a parent to her at a certain point. But I also do feel like now that we're not in this danger role anymore, now that you don't have to provide for us anymore, and we're all comfortable and safe and happy, like, why have the dynamics not changed in the sense where, like, Prim...
Because it's perfect Prim, and the dynamics don't change.
Is that going to be your...
Yeah, no, it is. 100%, because you know what? Because now she is not in survival mode. They get a shit ton of food. They have a beautiful house. And now perfect Prim can be just actually perfect Prim.
Perfect Prim.
And she doesn't have to do anything, and she doesn't have to feel bad about anything, and she can just focus on her life.
Well, you could call it foreshadowing because Suzanne Collins mentions how Katniss looks like her father, and her father was from the seam, and Prim looks like her mother, and her mother was from, like, the town.
Yep.
So her being the preferred child kind of tracks with the whole idea of, like, the city kids, like, or not city kids, but, like, the rich kids.
Yep.
In terms of District 12. Are, like, higher value than the seam kids.
Yep.
Interesting.
Fucker. I think we're gonna have to circle back on this. I'm gonna have to write a lot of notes on this. I think that we're gonna do probably multiple parts. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to probably go back and home and read this book now. Because I need to figure out.
No, I think that you're going to have to reflect. I mean, you can reread it, but I think you're going to have to reflect because there's so much.
I'm trying to remember. I'm going to have to read the interaction of the second book. I want to read again in between the lines now. From the perspective of where's Prim when she is at the beginning of Catching Fire. Because I think I remember exactly how it was. Like, that's what we were discussing. Like, they're in this perfect house. They have food. And she's still not, like, even a sister. Mm-hmm. And I need to go back and kind of read that. So that I can hate her more.
I think I need to relook at everything that's happened with Prim. Because now that we're looking at it through
and then even the third book. Where your sister's crawling into vents.
Yeah. I may not always get along with this sibling or that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're my sibling.
Correct.
And, you're my blood and I love you even when you piss me off.
Yep.
I don't need to get along with you to be like, something is wrong. Let me be present. Yep. And without going into it, time and again, both of us have been in many situations with our siblings where we're like...
Countless.
It's time to be present. Whatever.
Yep.
I don't agree with you. I don't like this situation.
Yep.
You pissed me off. But...
severely.
You are my sibling, and I'm here. Kind of thing. Because that's what you do as a sibling. You show the fuck up. Yeah. And that's what Katniss does, but it kind of seems like that's not at all what Prim ever does.
Well, that's what we do.
Yeah. That's what you normally do when you...
That's what you should do, but now I'm starting to understand not only Prim, but my family dynamics. But honestly, like, I feel like maybe it's hitting me in a different way, but it's like, when you think about this book and you think about how much Katniss has sacrificed, and you're starting to read in between the lines, and we're having this conversation about Prim never shows up for Katniss. Not fucking once. And we're not going to count that stupid bullshit conversation they had under the bunker.
No, I don't about, like, at all.
You can open up to me.
Listen to me. I don't count.
Shut up.
Listen to me. I don't count a single time where Katniss woke her up in the middle of the night as a moment of her being there for her. Because you see, bro, how many fucking times was Katniss in the hospital?
How many nights has Katniss been in the hospital? How many nights has Katniss
Let me tell you something.
in her sleep?
I would be glued to the bedside.
Even before in the
through
third
thick
book.
or thin, during an argument or not.
Yeah.
Especially after this bitch volunteered for me.
Yep.
So I think we're going to have to circle back to this.
Yep.